I want to talk to the kids. Parents watch the video and then hand the phone over to the young kids.
Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Rita. I hope you guys are doing well, but let's get into it. Today, we are going to talk about why I think progressives lost this election big time across the board. Number one, crime.
Hold on, Keith. The reality in America is that crime is massively up.
Crime is not massively up.
That's a lie.
You're lying, Congressman. You're lying.
We already know that there are studies.
FBI just released data this week that crime is going down.
The Washington Examiner did some digging and discovered the FBI's been cooking the books. Did you know about half the country doesn't send their crime statistics to the FBI? So the FBI just estimates the number of crimes, and then they estimate in the wrong direction. Murders are actually up 23% across 70 cities since 2019.
So there is a very interesting thing that I have noticed with progressives, and it is that they have this idea that black and browns automatically are okay with crime.
For instance, what if in the middle of the night, my home is broken into? Who do I call?
Yes, I mean, I hear that loud and clear from a lot of my neighbors. And I know, and myself too, and I know that that comes from a place of privilege.
Because after all, violent crime is what black people are used to, and we want them to feel comfortable in their space. And since they're used to violent crime, we're just gonna let the crime go. Turns out, black people, brown people, white people, yellow people, whatever you want to call it, no one likes the idea of somebody breaking into their house, crawling into their window in the middle of the night. However, because progressives are so concerned about blacks and browns that they won't prosecute any criminals.
Do you think we can talk about this?
Yeah, in a civil manner.
Yeah, I haven't yelled at you or anything, right? I mean, you can ask him why he's here if you want to ask.
No, I live in the neighborhood and I do a lot of mutual aid for the houseless.
Oh, no, he's not houseless. He has plenty of homes.
To make sure that he was not being harassed.
You want to tell her why you're here, or do you want her just to probably move along? Yeah.
Do you want him to go away?
Do you want to talk about this? Or?
I do. I want to talk about it.
Right, so.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that the brown person was safe.
Okay.
If locking up violent criminals means that it's going to be, black and brown, a lot of black and brown people, then so be it. If they are committing violent crimes, I don't care what color you are, you have to take responsibility for your actions. Progressives, unfortunately, don't think that.
As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid, correcting them, just take a beat.
They are living in their own bubble as usual, so they can't imagine the types of evils that go on in these areas where crime is allowed to run amok. I mean, if you allow a revolving door for criminals, if you give them space and encourage their bad behavior, they will reoffend over and over again, because guess what? Some people, contrary to what progressives believe, some people are bent on doing bad things to other people.
Hey, look, we can go terrorize the whole city. We making our way around.
Not everybody is a product of their environment. No, some people just want to do bad things. Hopefully this election, this spanking they got, will teach them not to put everybody, create caricatures of everyone. But sadly, I'm sure they'll continue on to do that. Now, the next problem.
I am a woman and I use the women's restroom. And I guarantee you, not one of you will stop me.
I dare you to try and stop me from going into a women's bathroom. It will be the last mistake you ever make. I dare you to try and stop a transgender woman in my presence from using the bathroom. It will be the last mistake you ever make.
I'll be really clear. President Biden deciding to rewrite Title IX is one of the most radical and illegal moves we've ever seen from the federal government. It's an attack on our states, it's an attack on our families, and it's an attack on our young women and girls. We will not stand for this in Oklahoma.
So I don't know if some of you remember movies like Eyes Wide Shut and all these other movies that they have about these secret societies where they get together and they talk about and they pontificate about, these imaginary utopias. So these types of people, they surround themselves with other people like this, and then they make policies based on these fantasies that they have. The problem is these things don't work in the real world.
What's your policy on when a student goes into a locker room and takes pictures of a female getting changed? What's done about that? Because the same student who brutally attacked the little girl was taking pictures, I've been told, of girls in the bathroom and in the locker room.
Very easy to think that the world revolves around your ideas, but you cannot foist your lifestyle or whatever onto people who live in a completely different area with a completely different culture.
I have no idea why you want drag queens to read books to your children. What in the hell has a drag queen ever done to make you have so much respect for them and admire them so much? Other than put on makeup and jump on the floor and writhe around and do sexual things on stage. I have absolutely no idea why you would want that to influence your child. A drag queen performs in a nightclub for adults. There is a lot of filth that goes on.
I used to, and I've said on this channel before, many years ago, work in the bar scene, and it was not uncommon in the city. It was not uncommon for men dressed in women's garb to come into the bar and flirt with us women. Hello, flirt with the bartenders, because guess what? They were all still attracted to women. It is just a fetish, and we understood it as such. We didn't allow them to come into the bathroom. You are living in a fantasy world, and that is another reason why you lost this election, because while you think it's perfectly normal for this to go on, while it's normal in your circle, it is not normal in most people's circles, just yours. Messing with the money.
We saw gas prices averaging in California $6.42.
People can take a lot of things. The minute you start messing with people's money, now we got problems. Remember all those jobs that Joe Biden, all those jobs that were lost, like thousands and thousands of jobs that were lost when he stopped the building of the Key Line pipeline. All those people who were all over social media talking about how they had bought new vehicles because they had this awesome, great paying job. And Joe Biden, because of their climate change fetish, which really, don't be fooled, it's really a redistribution of wealth. They're trying to shut down the oil and gas. They're playing a dangerous game for renewables.
No new fracking, no more drilling on federal lands, no more drilling, including offshore, no ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. And taking millions of automobiles off the road.
As president, would you be willing to sacrifice thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes.
Windmills don't work that great when it's minus 20. They typically freeze over, not to mention kill tons of endangered birds and other wildlife. I digress. This whole green thing with AOC with the farting cows and Bill Gates talking about mystery meat and how we don't have to eat meat.
Basically, two ways to help with cows. Cows are about 5% of global emissions. So there's a whole class of solutions of making meat without cows.
We can eat some manufactured beef, some lab grown. What in the world? So all this more fantastical ideas, people with no experience in farming, who know no knowledge of infrastructure, building.
Why do you think Bill Gates is buying up all this land?
Well, one is greed, and it's running America's family farmers off family land. Basically, we can't buy the land once Bill Gates moves into the area. For example, his data center is right next door here. And since he's located in Orchard, Virginia, land prices have went through the roof, $15,000, $20,000 an acre. What farmer do you know that can pay that kind of money per acre, off anything that we could grow on the farm? America's farmers are proud farmers. And I'm asking Americans not to support fake meat, but to support farmers out here who grow beef like I do, and poultry and pork. Support America's farmers and not support Bill Gates.
So playing silly games with people's livelihoods, with people's food, with people's survival, that is not a winning strategy. But even though it's not a winning strategy, they're not done. I'm sure they're going to keep trying. So I've been seeing a lot of memes lately. Memes all over the internet. Mad about Donald Trump winning, talking about it's the uneducated. It's the people without college degrees who keep the Republican Party going.
If you are wondering why we will never have free college in the United States, Bueller, and why we will continue to lag behind other countries in reading and writing, It's because the only voter base that is still voting Republican is non-college educated whites.
What they're really trying to say is it's the tradesmen. That's what they really want to say.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
It's the people who build our roads and our bridges. It's those people who don't have college degrees. But it's not really about the college degree. You know what it really is? Those are the types of men that threaten their masculinity. For all of these college educated and mad because all the Trump supporters are dumb, uneducated idiots and they don't have college degrees. Good luck. If there's a zombie apocalypse, good luck, sir. The feminism. Down with the patriarchy. They keep saying down with the patriarchy. And what I say, long live the patriarchy.
Long live the patriarchy. Long live the patriarchy. Done the right way, baby.
Because the last thing I want is a bunch of women like,
trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love.
I gotta cut it. Here we go. I've given up on America. I've also given up on coloring this hair because, right? Coloring my hair, having my hair be long and luxurious, all that shit, being skinny, being hot, and all the things that the patriarchy wants us to be, because clearly they don't give a shit about us. And I'm talking to you too, those of you ladies who have the internalized misogyny required to do what you did. Minorities who are so scared of a woman in power that you'd rather cozy up to the white man just in case some crumbs fall off his plate so that you may eat from them.
Like all these yelling.
You can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man.
Nagging, whining.
How did we get here?
Thank goodness more men stood against this feminism that is crushing this country, that is helping feminize men, helping keep women unsafe. That man, Daniel Petty, who was arrested in New York for trying to protect women and children. That was his goal, because there was a crazy man on the train talking about all that he was going to do to everybody on the train. This guy said he saw women and children, and so he choked him out.
Well, when you say we need more Daniel Pennies, you're right. You know why? Because he wasn't trying to kill anybody. He was a protector.
Yes.
He went into a chokehold. Then, while he was still breathing, released it into a resting position because he didn't want to kill the guy. And the passengers around him are thanking him.
And he was put in jail for it. Men like that keep the crazy men at bay. But feminists don't understand that. They think they can do everything until they get attacked.
You guys, I was literally just walking and a man came up and punched me in the face. Oh my God.
By some crazy man who maybe wouldn't have felt so emboldened if men weren't emasculated and penalized for trying to be protectors of women. Men are sick of being called, you're part of the patriarchy. Men are sick of being called toxic. You and your feminism, you are toxic. Last but not least, the illegals.
An 11-year-old girl is sexually assaulted by her 20-year-old neighbor Saturday. This is according to police. They say Marvin Perez Lopez is an undocumented migrant.
Talia and Jeremy, take a look. Here they are. And new today, Aurora police tell us all 10 here are members of Tren de Aragua, or TDA, and they are now charged with dozens of violent crimes, including kidnapping, child abuse, and attempted murder.
Now, a lot of people argue, oh, we're a country of migrants. You know, you hear the politicians, we're a country of migrants. We're all from so many different places, yada, yada, yada. The people who lived here were not being forced to care for the people who came off the boat at Ellis Island. Now, with this, it's a huge slap in the face. You're asking people who are already struggling, you're already playing games because of your fantasies about what kind of world you want to create. So now you're letting illegals come in. Oh, by the way, we all taxpayers, people, when we get all those big chunks of taxes taken out of our check, we got to foot the bill for these people now.
$51 million for migrants brought some loud and vocal opposition from the public, to the point where police had to escort people out of the city council meeting several times. Mayor Brandon Johnson asked for a 2-minute breather.
We want to make sure that we can continue to conduct the business of the people.
The migrant crisis racking up a hefty price tag for state and local governments.
You're talking about maybe $80 billion in educational costs, maybe $25 billion in healthcare costs.
No, that's not right. And people are really pissed off about that. This is another reason why Democrats lost the election, because you cannot just say, oh, we're going to open the borders and let all these people in. That's one thing, but it's a whole other thing to say, oh, and by the way, you're going to pay for it. And not only are you going to pay for it, some of these politicians had the audacity to say stuff like,
if you have an extra room or suite in your home, please consider hosting a family. Safe housing and shelter is our most pressing need. Become a sponsor family.
Can you imagine? Unbelievable. This is why they lost the election. They are Democrats are completely out of touch with reality. Everybody is not down with your perverted stuff. The drag show for kids. Oh, but we're worried about mass incarceration. We're not worried. I don't care what color they are. I don't care if it turns out that 80% happen to be black. If 80% of them, if they're all committing violent crime, lock them up. And I don't care if they're black, brown, white. I don't care. We want safer neighborhoods, cheaper food. We don't want men gyrating in front of our children. I don't want to be called BIPOC. I'm not a BIPOC. I'm a woman. But no, all of this crazy stuff, this is why you lost the election. This is why. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What were the biggest drivers for you to not vote for Democrats this time around? Until next time, ciao. God bless.